Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Meta Flash. With playoffs right around the corner and a brand new patch, let's take a look at some very important changes and some new old champions that we might be seeing back on the Rift this weekend. Patch 11.6 hit, and if you missed her presence on the Rift, well, get ready, because you're gonna see her a lot. Akali has been tweaked in a few ways this patch. Her wave clear ability has significantly taken a hit, since now her Q, 5-point strike, no longer deals 25% bonus magic damage to minions and monsters, as well as its cost going up on the first run and slowly decreasing later on as more level up points go into that ability. At this point, you must be thinking, Trouble, are you out of your mind? That's a huge nerf. And I hear you. You know what they say though? Everything someone says before the word but doesn't count. So let's roll it back. As well as its cost going up on the first run and slowly decreasing later on as more level up points go into that ability. But Akali took a hit with the removal of Gunblades into her ability skill with both AD and AP, and is now headed towards a path of full AP item choices. Her E, Shuriken Flip, has received a buff in flat damage as well as a full 20% buff on its AP ratio. Moving over to her ultimate, Perfect Execution, it has physical damage completely removed from the first dash, and it's now magic damage instead, plus adding a full 30% AP ratio on it that was not there before. Which means Akali benefits from the current full AP build path, as now all her abilities scale massively with ability power. And if you feel like Akali spamming all those spells will drive her out of energy really fast, well, W, Twilight Shroud, now increases Akali's maximum energy by 80 as long as it's active and still restores 80 energy on the spot. So her wave clear and laning phase might have taken a slight hit, but her potential for a swift and clean assassination have never looked better. Sylas has been a popular pick lately since champions with hard engage and global ultimates have risen back up to the top. He provides his team with extremely useful borrowed tools, which vary from hard to see to following an opponent mid lane into another lane with your own global ultimate. But as a melee champion in the mid lane, he always does struggle getting ahead, and here's where the healing bugs from 11.6 come to push him back to the top. His W, Kingslayer, aka his healing ability, has its cooldown and cost reduced, while its healing ratio did take a slight hit. So the ability isn't as effective as it was before, but it is much more spammable, which means that in a teamfight, Sylas gets to use it more often than he did before. Healbot activated. Moving on to the jungle, and with all those proactive ganking junglers coming back into the meta, an oldie but a goodie comes back to shake the Rift. Buckle up and get ready, because Xin Zhao has received a lot of changes in his kit and now comes in two build paths that are guaranteed to leave your laners molding. Xin Zhao's W, when it becomes lightning cooldown, is now slightly reduced on later ranks. The thrust damage is now increased by 33% and is now based on critical strike chance. Its range and missile speed were significantly buffed, as well as the fact that Thrust will now apply Challenge on champions and monsters and will reveal them for 3 seconds. On top of that, his E, Audacious Charge's cast range was increased to 1100 on challenged enemies. That makes the Immortal Shieldbolt building path so strong on Xin Zhao, as it provides him with all key stats he needs, with bonus cookie points on critical strike, which will now buff his W's damage. What's that? You need AP jungler instead? Don't worry, Xin Zhao has got you too. Huge adjustments were made on his AP ratios all across his spells. The healing AP ratio from his passive was buffed from 40% to a significant 55%. His W now has a 50% AP ratio, as well as a 110% AP ratio being added onto his ultimate ability, Crescent Guard. We have seen a lot of trends going around with Xin Zhao rocking Nashor's Tooth into a full AP build with Everfrost, meaning once he marks his target, he gets to stick on them till they're dead. And even if it takes longer, it doesn't matter. Healing is too strong from all that AP stacking. Back to the mid lane, a lot of items have changed. Let's start with the good though, shall we? Liandra's Anguish had players building it cry, like the mask on the icon, due to its 5% magic penetration per second passive being removed from the item. But now it grants up to 12% bonus magic damage instead to champions based on their bonus health. And in a meta tank where full tank team compositions are back into play, Liandry's is the undeniable tank killer item for every mage. Moving over to Ludin's Tempest, The Pop passive has now received a new toy. Dealing any ability damage to an enemy champion will now reduce Echo's cooldown by 0.5 seconds and up to 3 seconds per ability used. That means dot champions such as Cassiopeia, Malzahar, and of course the very famous in the current meta Lilia will be able to make much more frequent use out of the item's passive, shoving Lilia deeper into the permaban list. And now it's time to break you the bad news if you're a mage player. Verdant Barrier and Seeker's Arm Guard were hit on this patch, with Seeker's receiving the bigger hit, having its max armor halved, making mages have such a much harder time in lane against, you guessed it, your favorite, AD assassins. But it doesn't end there. Immortal Shieldbow was now hit on the healing department, but its shield passive is now increased, and when the passive pops, instead of lifesteal, it now grants the wearer raw AD, which means that we could be seeing these guys make a return in the mid lane, as well as the very famous Yone getting that much stronger. Such burst, match execute. That's it for this episode of Pro Meta Flash. What champions do you expect to see being played this weekend? Leave it in the comments down below and let's discuss. Until next time, bye bye!